kind of like this as a thump. I will do more with it than just leave it like that, but that's an element in there that I want. Actually, I kind of want those too. Sounds like someone's on the movement stuff, even though neither of these people are necessarily wearing armor. I'm going to imply it a little bit. Okay, let's get the movement. That one. So these yellow lines I've made are already kind of little timeline markers of where the action is going to be. It's helpful when you're doing sound design to make these markers. Alrighty, let's do a little EQ on this guy. Be louder. Oh man. I can't turn it up. I can turn it up just a little bit more. Let me see. Now you're just going to hear a bunch of like background hiss and stuff too, though. But I should probably get a mic with the headset attached, because this is just the built-in one for the computer. My dog's laying on the floor behind me, so you're probably listening to them breathe as well. Alrighty, let's start getting this funky, not so boxy sounding. Okay, the tail on this is a little long, so I'm going to just shorten it so it doesn't sound so hollow. That's kind of how I want that. There's going to be other stuff in there, but we'll see. Lots of spinning wheels here around the rack. I like that blood sound. These two are better. Cool. We put some that kind of stuff in there. What? Okay. You guys should be able to hear the sound of Pro Tools, no? It says desktop audio, and I see my meter going. Okay, doing a little... Okay, JB's just saying Pro Tools is very quiet in comparison to me. Well, that's why I turned down my voice. Okay. That's all right. I think that does anything. That should be a little louder now. Sorry, I know it's annoying. I'm just looping something to test. Much better. Okay. I bet I made everyone reach for their volume controls there. Yeah, okay. Alright, let's keep going. Some drum breaks. Maybe. Yeah, the background fuzz is just because it's a built-in mic, and all this streaming and sound design is making my laptop fan very loud, so I'm gonna have to do something different with the mic situation for future streams. Okay, that's gonna be a nice little crunch in there. Yes. That's a little comical. It's almost goofy, so I'm gonna turn that down. Yeah. Yep, built-in mic. Need more swords. Needs to be more metal, more sheets. let's try those. This might be weird, but I'm actually going to play these backwards. Actually, I'm going to do it both forward and backwards. And maybe a kind of composite sound here. Nice and short. Tyler. Okay, let's see what that sounds like. A little loud. I don't know if I like this blood splat stuff actually. Yeah, the blood splat just makes me laugh for some reason. I think I'm gonna leave it in. I mean, it's like in this video, like the last thing you hear is kind of the blood splat stuff, but in game you'd probably hear some Foley movement. See, like the character being hit will have a hit reaction. You know, he's taking steps, so some other sounds will kind of come in. Right now, it just kind of ends sort of abruptly, but I'm not going to worry about that too much right now because there's going to be other stuff playing. Cool. Alrighty, now this is a generic swing one, so there's not going to be any. This is just your regular melee, so in my opinion, it's less magical, so it's not going to have these kind of tonal elements happening to these guys. Yeah, so I'm not going to have anything there, but it's going to be... I don't know exactly how to differentiate these between this green charge ability and the white one, and then later on you got a blue one. That's just how the sound's playing in a second. Blue one's going to be a lot heavier sounding, so I'll have to figure that out. Drinking some water. So since I've already done this impact, the impacts are not really going to change. Maybe they'll change based on how much damage the person has or is receiving, maybe like what kind of armor they're wearing, things like that. But for now, I'm just going to kind of make variations of the same thing. It's kind of keeping the same tonality, and this is something you have to do in video games a lot, is because you have multiple variations of the same action in the game, but you can't just play the same sound every time. So you have to learn how to do enough variation so it's not the exact same sound, but then obviously it still has to be similar enough so that it, you know, so that you still know it's the same sound when you're playing it. But that's the same part. So I just grouped these. Let's leave them down to another place. Right? We've heard that from before, but now I'm going to swap out the variations. So it's an impact, so I don't want that tail to keep ringing. This might sound pretty similar. It's going to be hard to create variations on this. Have I ever used my own voice, and if you use my own sound examples? Yes, I've definitely used my own voice as just kind of a source thing, and then you manipulate it after the fact. It's pretty common to do that just because, you know, if you're trying to get a very specific sort of performance out of a sound, sometimes it's just as easy to record it your own. And that's the same reason why you'd use your own sound effects too. You know, if you're doing something pretty specific and you have that sound available, oftentimes it's a time saver just to record it yourself. And then samples, yes, everyone always uses samples. I mean, it's such a common thing to do is to use sample libraries. It's a huge, huge time saver. And, you know, obviously not every project is going to have the budget to go out and record 100% of their own material. That's just not even practical. So, yeah, sound libraries are a huge part, especially for video games where you need a usually fairly quick turnaround on things. Push this one down. Let's consolidate first. Thank you. Where's that one? That's what I want. Okay. We need a different part of the wood break. Maybe a short one. Alright. Oh, no, that's fine. Let's do that one. Or better. I don't like that it rings though. It's got this hollow sound. I mean, it is wood, so it sounds like that. But duplicate track. And back to my sound effects library browser to look for some sounds. Okay, so this is kind of a little trick that I do with sounds sometimes is, even though yes, those are giant explosions, which do not fit necessarily, I just want the very, very front of the sound. Like that. You can kind of use them as little short impacts because you're just taking the transient being just the initial impact. Let's see where that gets us. Oh, that's turned down. Okay, that's a little loud. Do a little bit more tail, it's a little crop. Yeah. Yeah, so it doesn't really sound like a explosion anymore. I'm going to need my blood layers again. Actually, I want like splatter blood. Yes, I did just say I want splatter blood. Actually, I'll probably be missing that from all of these variations, but